Hello students, welcome in today's lecture. In our previous lecture, we have completed our topic molecular basis of inheritance, and in that point we have discussed the last point of that chapter, that is the Michelson and the Stahl experiment, which prove the semi-conservative mode of replication. Here we have seen that both the NCERT and the State Board syllabus is same for the chapter molecular basis of inheritance. So there is no difference in NCERT. So we are not discussing the separately this topic for the NCERT point of view. So you have to compare both NCERT and State Board, and then you will decide that the same point is there in NCERT as well as in the textbook. Okay. त्यामुळे वेगळं काही NCERT मध्ये नाहीये, त्यामुळे NCERT आपण सेपरेटली डिस्कस करणार नाही. ॲज इट इज सेम तुम्हाला स्टेट बोर्ड सारखं NCERT पाहायला मिळणार आहे. ओके, तुम्ही जेव्हा अभ्यास कराल NCERTचा तेव्हा तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की ते सगळे पॉईंट ऑलरेडी आपण स्टेट बोर्डला डिस्कस केलेले आहेत. कुठलाही वेगळा पॉईंट NCERT मध्ये नाही. जो आपल्याला स्टेट बोर्डमध्ये आपण बघितलेला आहे तेच सेम तुम्हाला तिथे रिपीट केलेलं आहे. ओके, सो त्यामुळं आपण NCERTचं वेगळं लेक्चर कंडक्ट केलेलं नाही, हे सगळ्यांनी नीट लक्षात घ्या. बऱ्याच मुलांचं पद कन्फ्युजन होतं की मॉलिक्युलर बेसिस ऑफ इनहेरिटन्स NCERT आम्हाला शिकवलं नाही, तर तुम्ही चेक करा ते सेम आहे, त्यामुळे ते आपण सेपरेटली करणार नाही. जिथं वेगळं आहे NCERT तेच लेक्चर त्या चॅप्टरचं आपण सेपरेटली कंडक्ट करणार आहोत. ओके, एनहान्समेंट इन फूड प्रोडक्शन, दिस इज द 11 number chapter which is mentioned in our textbook. But here, before starting the chapter, I will give a very important information about this chapter is that because with this video lecture, I am going to send you one PDF file of the textbook by which you can identify that some part of our syllabus is deleted for this year. Okay, and so before starting the chapter enhancement in food production, you should know that very important part is only there, and that is the microbes in human welfare. But the number of syllabus from this chapter is deleted, and which is that I will discuss first here, and then we will discuss which part we have to discuss for this year from this chapter enhancement in food production. Okay, so see students, this is very important that you should know the important part of this topic which we have to discuss for this year is only microbes in human welfare. But before that, some points are given, and that is reduced for this year only due to this lockdown period, and that's why the point which is deleted from this chapter, which we have to not discuss for this year, which I will explain here. So please pay attention here. That is from enhancement in food production. The important point that is deleted is the first point is improvement in food production. Improvement in food production. This is the first point in which the number of points are given in textbook, that is improvement. First you should know the meaning of enhancement in food production. Enhancement means improvement, increase in the food production, because there are different ways for the production of the food. Different animals give different type of the food. Agriculture is the source of food. By modifying the agriculture, modifying the food which is the source of the animals, or which is the source of plants, we can increase the yield of food. So enhancement means to improve or to increase the food production. So under this chapter, the point which is deleted, that we are going to discuss here, and the first point is the improvement in food production. That means in textbook under this title improvement in food production, the different points are given, and the first point is the plant breeding. That means, and see here student, one important point is that the point that is deleted for this year, that we are going to discuss here, but these points you have to study for the NCERT, because in the NCERT chapter the points are not deleted, these are the same there, and NEET point of view the chapter is very important, but for state board these points are deleted. So first point that is deleted is the plant breeding. Plant breeding technique, how different steps are carried out for the breeding of the plant, that can be deleted. Second one is the there will be some improvement of the crops like wheat, rice, sugarcane, millet, that part is also deleted. Then second point is that the plant breeding for the disease resistant, plant breeding for to insect resistant, these all points are deleted. So first point, that is the improvement in food production, under which different sub points are there like plant breeding, wheat, rice, millet, sugarcane, then improvement of the plant for the disease resistant, all points are deleted. Next one, there is another point that is called as mutation breeding. That is mutation breeding. Mutation breeding is also deleted point from this chapter. Then next one is called as the tissue culture. This one is also deleted from this point. Then SCP, single cell protein, biofortification. Biofortification. And next one is animal husbandry. In this animal husbandry, there are different points like the sericulture, apiculture, fishery, then lag culture, all these points are deleted. So student, you should know that from the starting of the chapter, improvement in food production, up to the animal husbandry, all points are deleted for this year. So it is the deleted syllabus, okay? You have to not read any point from this for the state board. So the only part is there we have to study under the chapter enhancement in food production is the microbes in human welfare. आणि आपल्याला माहित असेल की कॉलेजच्या मुलांना मायक्रोब्स इन ह्युमन वेलफेअर हा पूर्णपणे एनसीईआरटी मध्ये घेतलेला आहे, फक्त क्लासच्या मुलांना तो झालेला नाहीये. त्यामुळे नेहमीच्या मेथडनं पहिल्यांदा आपण हा चॅप्टर स्टेट बोर्डला बघणार आहोत, मायक्रोब्स इन ह्युमन वेलफेअर, आणि नंतर मग तो एनसीईआरटी पॉईंट ऑफ व्ह्यू डिस्कस करणार आहे. कारण का तर एनहान्समेंट इन फूड प्रोडक्शन मध्ये स्टेट बोर्डचं कंटेंट हे टोटली एनसीईआरटी कंटेंट पेक्षा वेगळं आहे, त्यामुळे तो पॉईंट आपण सेपरेटली डिस्कस करणार आहोत. So now we will discuss the point that you have to study for this year from the enhancement in food production, and that is the microbes. That is the microbes in human welfare. Microbes in human welfare. It is very short point. त्यामुळे हा टॉपिक एनहान्समेंट इन फूड प्रोडक्शन हा छोटासा टॉपिक होणार आहे. निम्मा जवळजवळ सिलेबस त्याच्यामधला काय केलेला आहे, डिलीट केलेला आहे. ओके, त्यामुळे हा चॅप्टर आपला 3 ते 4 लेक्चर मध्ये फिनिश होणार आहे, आणि लगेच आपण त्यावेळेचा एनसीईआरटीचा सेपरेट चॅप्टर डिस्कस करणार आहोत. मायक्रोब्स इन ह्युमन वेलफेअर. The name itself indicates its meaning. Microbes, that mean different microorganisms that are useful for the human, for its different sources, for different benefits or for its welfare. म्हणजे वेगवेगळ्या मायक्रोऑर्गॅनिझमचा वापर ह्युमनच्या डेव्हलपमेंटसाठी, ह्युमनच्या वेगवेगळ्या ॲक्टिव्हिटीसाठी, ह्युमनच्या चांगल्यासाठी, वेलफेअरसाठी कसं उपयोगी पडतात ते आपल्याला याच्यामध्ये बघायचं आहे. आणि या चॅप्टरच्या अंडर आपल्याला काय बघायचं आहे तर मायक्रोब्स इन ह्युमन वेलफेअरमध्ये आपण डिस्कस करणार आहोत मेन महत्त्वाचा पॉईंट, तो म्हणजे बायोटेक्नॉलॉजीचं ॲप्लिकेशन. बिकॉज बायोटेक्नॉलॉजी is a branch of biology which is the principle, which is of the scientific and genetic engineering, or in another way we say that biotechnology is a branch of biology which use the principle of the scientific and the engineering technique. म्हणजे या बायोटेक्नॉलॉजी ही अशी ब्रँच आहे की ज्या ब्रँचमध्ये काही सायंटिफिक मेथड्स वापरून, काही इंजिनियर म्हणजे मॉडिफिकेशन करून आपल्याला वेगवेगळ्या मायक्रोऑर्गॅनिझमचा ह्युमनला कसा वेगळ्या वेगळ्या पद्धतीनं वेलफेअरसाठी उपयोग होतो ते याच्यामध्ये सांगितले आहे. So the biotechnology chapter that we'll discuss later on in detail, but you should know the biotechnology is a direct has connection to the human welfare, and we should know the meaning of biotechnology. That means it is a branch of biology in which there is use of live organism, there is a use of the enzyme which are formed from the living organism. So by using the different enzyme, by using the live organism, or by using the live physiological process, we can use this microorganism for the human welfare. Okay, so biotechnology is nothing but a branch of biology which is having the applications on which is connected directly to the human welfare. So here you should know the biotechnology has two important phases. One is called as the traditional phase and another one is called as modern phase. ओके, ट्रॅडिशनल म्हणजे पूर्वापार झालेली बायोटेक्नॉलॉजीची एक ब्रँच आहे, एक फील्ड आहे, आणि ते ट्रॅडिशनल फील्ड आपण इथे बघणार आहोत मायक्रोज इन ह्युमन वेलफेअर मध्ये. आणि मॉडर्न म्हणजे काय, नाउअडेज there are different investigations occur in this biotechnology, and nowadays the branch which is developed that is called as a modern biotechnology. But in this chapter we are discussing this biotechnological principle related to the traditional level and how it is that we are now going to discuss here. So don't be confused, only one word is remain, keep in mind, that is the biotechnology. That means the branch of biology which is useful for the human welfare, and that's why it is given in the introduction part of this microbe in human welfare. So you should know there are different microorganisms or different microbes which are directly useful to the human being in different ways for the health of human being, as a food, as a feed technology, as a medicine, agriculture, industrial level, at various field of the human being. These microorganisms are useful in different ways. So which generally microorganisms are useful for the human being, and those microorganisms generally are the bacteria, then algae, fungi, viruses, protozoans, nematodes, etc. So these microorganisms that are the bacteria, algae, fungi, viruses, protozoans, nematodes, these microbes directly or their products which are useful to the human being for different purposes, like this microorganism or their products may be used as a food, may be used as a feed technology. Feed technology means in Marathi we call as a khadya tantragnan, or it is used for the health of the human being, for the medicine, for the development of medicine to the human being, or they may be used in the agriculture field to improve the various crops which give the better food to us, or these are also useful in the industrial level for production of the large scale of the different products like the enzymes or antibiotics or vitamins, etc. So these microorganisms are useful to the human being because they are used in the technology that is called as biotechnology, and they are used various products which are useful to the human being. So some students may be confused that you should know bacteria which have important role in the various technology. Algae are important, fungi are important, protozoans, nematodes, each and every role of this microbe that we are discussing, we are going to discuss in this point or in this chapter. But you should know, some students may confuse that how the virus or their products are beneficial to the human being. You should know that different vaccines which are prepared against the viral diseases by the live or the dead virus. For example, polio disease, it is a disease which is called as a viral disease, and there is now in the market polio vaccine is available, and that vaccine is prepared from that polio virus itself. Thus, these viruses are useful to the human being. Generally, all viruses are always harmful to the human being, but the products which is prepared from this virus in the form of vaccine is useful to the human being. So, we have mentioned the name virus under the microorganisms which are useful to the human being. Okay, so these are the list of the microbes which are useful to the human being in the various way. See here, student, even though chapters content is very less or it is very simple, but there are number of microbes whose scientific names are given that we have to keep in mind, because these scientific names are very useful. That question is always asked that which food is prepared by which microorganism, then you should know the name of that microorganism. So here we have to discuss the role of these microbes in the various fields. Now, in which field these microbes are used, or which point we have to discuss under the point the microbes in human welfare. So first we will see that these microbes are useful to the human being in the various fields, and those fields are, that is, first one, these microbes are useful for food production. Second one, it is also useful for industrial production. Third one is they are useful for sewage treatment. Fourth one, for biogas production. Then next role is as biocontrol agent. Role of microbes as biofertilizers. So see here, up to 6 points are there under the title microbes in human welfare, and we have to discuss all these points in detail, because here we have seen that these microbes are useful to the human being in the preparation of the food, because in our kitchen we make different types of the foods, and for that preparation the role of microbes is very useful. Second one is industrial production. Just I have told you that at the industrial level, the large scale of the various substances are produced, various antibiotics are produced. For example, at the industry level, we can produce alcoholic beverages like wine, beer, rum, whiskey, or we can produce antibiotic as a medicine, vitamins, enzymes, organic acids, different type of hormones. All these are produced at industry level in a large scale, and for that purpose also microorganisms are important. Without the microorganism we cannot produce some type of food in our kitchen, or some type of the substances which are required in a large number at the industry level. Sewage treatment. Sewage means the waste product which are produced daily in human society, and that sewage is treated by the microbes, because of water is very important source, and in the sewage large quantity of water is there. That water should not be wasted, and so to avoid the wasting of the water from the sewage treatment is there, and for that sewage treatment there will be the role of variety of the microorganisms. Biogas production. In 11th standard, under the topic biological classification, we have seen that under the title bacteria, that is the archaebacteria which produce the biogas methane, and this archaebacteria is useful for the purpose of the biogas production, because methane is particularly produced in the dung of the cows or buffaloes, and that gas is used for the different purposes for the human being. So how this biogas is produced, which are the applications of the significance of this biogas, that we will discuss in detail under this title biogas production. Then biocontrol agent. Biocontrol agent means what? There are some pest or some insects in the fields are there, in agriculture is there, and that pest or insect damage our crops. So that pest should be killed without adding fertilizer, because we all know that fertilizers, if we added continuously in our field, that will decrease the productivity of that field, that will decrease the fertility of the field. कारण केमिकल फर्टिलायझर जर आपण कंटिन्युअस वापरत राहिलो तर आपल्याला काय पाहायला मिळतं, त्या शेताची फर्टिलिटी लॉस होते, पीक जे येणार असतं प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द फूड हे कमी पाहायला मिळतं. सो टू अवॉइड द यूज ऑफ फर्टिलायझर वी हॅव टू यूज द मायक्रोब्स which can kill that pest. By the use of microbes, by use of the microorganism, we can kill the pest, and thus we can avoid the drawbacks of the fertilizer. कारण एक मायक्रोब्स आपण किंवा अनेक मायक्रो ऑर्गॅनिझम तिथे यूज करून आपण पेस्टला किल करू शकतो, अँड वी कॅन अवॉइड दी ड्रॉबॅक्स ऑफ द फर्टिलायझर. त्यामुळे फर्टिलायझरमुळे जे आपल्याला ड्रॉबॅक्स पाहायला मिळतात ते इथे अवॉइड केलेले पाहायला मिळतात. कारण हिअर बायो means living organism can be used to control the pest of the field. And then the next one is the role of microbes as the biofertilizer. Biofertilizer means again there are fertilizers, but these fertilizers is of the biological origin, because these fertilizers include again microorganism. Some microorganisms are there like fungi, like algae. There are some bacteria which can increase the yield of the crop, which has a role as a fertilizer. So these microorganisms we can use in our field to increase our crop yield. So students, see here under this point we have to discuss the microbe in human welfare. So we start our first point, that is role of microbes in the food production. Role of microbes in the food production. So here we will discuss this point, role of microbes in food production, and for that we have to know the which different types of foods can be prepared in our food and which microbes are involved there. So here we will discuss role of microbes under food production. Okay, so here number of points are given. First point is given under the state board, that is which foods are there: dosa, dhokla and idli. These are the foods which we particularly call as a fermented foods. What is meant by fermentation? If in any food some microbes grows, okay, and that microbes gives specific flavor, specific texture to that food, then that food is called as a fermented food. So you should know that is dhokla, idli or dosa. These has some sour taste, थोडीशी आंबट चव असते, and this food can be prepared with the help of only microbes, and one important microorganism, that is bacteria, are involved for the production of such a kind of the food. So bacteria are very important for production of this fermented food like idli, dosa, dhokla. Okay, now we have to see that is the name of that bacteria which is responsible for production of such food, and those are called as Leuconostoc and Streptococcus species. Leuconostoc and Streptococcus species. Here rice plus black gram. Preparation is there. Okay. What here important? These are the foods which we call as the fermented foods, which are only formed due to the activity of the bacteria. And these bacteria are nothing but these are the airborne bacteria. They are present in the air, and those bacteria's names are the Leuconostoc and the Streptococcus species. Keep in mind, these two bacteria are responsible for production of this fermented food, and the main raw material which is used for this food, that is the rice and the black gram, which in Marathi we call as the उडीद, and rice means the आपण म्हणतो तांदूळ. तर या दोघांचं प्रिपरेशन करून आपल्याला हे फूड तयार केलेले पाहायला मिळतं. इथे इम्पॉर्टंट काय आहे महत्वाचं, द नेम ऑफ बॅक्टेरिया that is called as Leuconostoc and the Streptococcus species which produce this food, and the raw material which is used, that is called as the rice and the black gram. This is very important. Now what is the main technique is responsible for the formation of this food, that is when these microbes Leuconostoc and Streptococcus grows in that particular food, they produce this CO2, and this CO2 is responsible for puffing of dough. Is responsible for puffing of dough. And when these microorganisms grow in that food has appearance of puffiness. म्हणजे आपण जेव्हा पीठ तयार करून ठेवतो पहा, आणि पीठ तयार केल्यानंतर ते झाकून ठेवतो इडलीचं, डोस्याचं किंवा ढोकळ्याचं, आणि काही तासानंतर ऑब्झर्व केलं की ते पीठ आपल्याला फुगलेलं पाहायला होतं. दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज अ पफिंग. डो म्हणजे पीठ, पफिंग ऑफ डो म्हणजे पीठ फुगणे. आणि व्हेन देयर इज अ पफिंग ऑफ डो, दॅट इज इट इज ड्यू टू द growth of these microbes in that dough, and that microbes produce during their growth in that dough CO2, and this CO2 is responsible for puffing of the dough. So you should know only this much point for the dosa, dhokla and idli preparation which has a food production. Next to this is another point, that is microbes as a source of food. Microbes as a source of food. See, here we have seen the role of bacteria in the production of the food. But second point is that microbes as a source of food. So some microbes are their fruiting bodies are directly used as a source of food. So some microbes or their fruiting bodies are directly used as a source of food because they are rich in the vitamins and proteins. They are rich in vitamins and proteins. So in the chapter Kingdom Planting in the 11th standard, we have seen the role of the algae as a direct food by space traveler like the spirulina. Okay, so there are some algae which are directly used as a food. There are some fungi which are directly used as a food. But why they are directly used? Because they are rich in the nutrient, that is the vitamins and the proteins. So these microbes are their fruiting bodies. Whole microbes or their fruiting bodies. What is mean by fruiting bodies? There are two examples given. One is called as mushroom, and another one is called as truffles. Mushrooms and truffles. So see here, everyone is well known for this term mushroom. It is an example of the fungi, and truffle is a similar kind of the fungi which looks like the mushroom. So mushroom and truffles, these are the examples of fungi. If we see the example of mushroom, then you have known the structure of the mushroom, that is mushroom has this fruiting body. Mushroom has दिस फ्रुटिंग बॉडी. ओके, आणि हे जे आंब्रेला सारखं स्ट्रक्चर दिसतं आपल्याला मशरूमचं, दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज द फ्रुटिंग बॉडी. सेम स्ट्रक्चर विल बी देअर इन द ट्रफल, अँड दॅट फ्रुटिंग बॉडी इज ओनली यूज as a food because it is rich in source of vitamin, protein, different type of minerals, amino acids. So these are the microbes, and it is their fruiting body which is directly used as a food. So here we have to see that the mushrooms and truffles, these are the examples of the fungi particularly used as a source of food, and there are some microbes which are in the form of powder form, or they are directly eaten as a food. So there is one term under this microbes as a food, and that is called as SCP. SCP means single cell protein. SCP is single cell protein. The meaning of SCP is that dead and dried cells of microbes. Dead and dried cells of microbes like bacteria, algae, molds, yeast and yeast. Okay, see here, microbes as a source of food. We have seen that microbes are directly used as a food, or their fruiting bodies are used as a food. Example we have seen in the mushroom. There is one term under this microbes as a source of food, that is SCP. SCP means single cell protein. In a single cell you can get all the protein content, so the name is given as single cell protein. That means these microbes are generally unicellular. They are example of the kingdom Monera, and all the Monera are the unicellular organism. Their body is made up of single cell. So if we eat that single cell, if we eat that particular microorganism, then you can get all the protein content of that cell. So the term is given that single cell protein. And what is the definition of the single cell protein? Single cell protein is dead and dried cells of the microbes. Dead means that microbe should first dead, and after that microbe it should be dried. Okay, so dead and dried cells of the microbes. And which microbes are generally involved in the single cell protein? Like some bacteria are there, some algae are there, some molds are there, and some yeasts are there. Because you know that yeast is an example of fungi. All fungi are generally multicellular, but this yeast is exception to that fungi, and it is a unicellular. So all these microorganisms which are mentioned here are the unicellular organism, and if we eat these microbes directly, first we have to kill it and we have to dry it, and after we eat it, and it acts as a single cell protein, or which is the source of the food. So you should know that the example given here, that is the mushroom, their fruiting bodies, or truffle, their fruiting bodies can we also eat as a direct source of food, because the mushroom, the one important of this mushroom or the truffle is that they are having the less sugar, they are having the less fat, they are having the less caloric value, and that's why every kind of person can eat this mushroom. कारण या mushroom मध्ये कॅलरीज कमी असतात, त्यामुळे हार्ट पेशंट ते खाऊ शकतो, किंवा ज्याला स्लिम राहायचं आहे ते खाऊ शकतात. शुगर फ्री असल्यामुळं डायबिटिक पेशंट ते खाऊ शकतात. पण त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला मोर व्हॅल्यू कशाची पाहायला मिळते मशरूम आणि ट्रफल्स मध्ये? दे आर रिच in vitamins, they are rich in protein, they are rich in minerals, and they are rich in some amino acids, and that's why their nutritional value is very important, and they are directly eaten as a source of food. So this is the second point which is under the food production. Now the third point, that will be discussed here under the food production, that is the dairy products. Third point is dairy products. You know, there are different types of the dairy products are there, like the curd, buttermilk, cheese, yogurt, and variety of dairy products are there. All the dairy products can be prepared by the use of microbes. So first the dairy product, that is the curd. See here, this curd, everyone has know that how the curd is formed in our home, because for the formation of the curd, inoculum or starter is required. So first content which is required for curd formation is the milk, and when we add some inoculum or starter in that milk, then that milk gets converted into the curd. But the inoculum or the starter has the lab, that is lactobacillus bacteria. And particularly name of that bacteria is lactobacillus acidophilus. Acidophilus. So students, first product that we are going to discuss under the dairy product is the curd. In the milk we add when inoculum or the starter. And what is the inoculum or starter? आपल्याला माहित आहे की दुधामध्ये थोडंसं दही किंवा आपण म्हणतो ताक घातलं, सो another curd or the buttermilk acts as the inoculum or the starter. ते घातल्यानंतर मिल्कचं कन्वर्शन तुम्हाला कशामध्ये पाहायला मिळतं? कर्ड मध्ये पाहायला मिळतं. ओके, how this curd form, that we will discuss later on. But see here, the inoculum or the starter which we add in this milk has millions of lactic acid bacteria. Those inoculum or the starter contains millions of lactic acid bacteria. And the example of this lactic acid bacteria is the lactobacillus. So lactobacillus acidophilus is the name of that bacteria. Lactobacillus acidophilus is the name of that bacteria which is responsible for formation of the curd. Okay, so what is the name of that bacteria? Lactophilus acidophilus. Okay, now here we have to discuss how the curd will be formed by this lactic acid bacteria. So here, this lactic acid bacteria when enter into the milk, they coagulate that milk, and there will be partially digestion of the milk protein that is called as casein. So in that milk, when this lactobacillus get added, there will be the lactic acid from this lactobacteria, lactobacillus causes coagulation of milk and partial digestion of milk protein, and the name of that protein is called as the casein. आणि त्यामुळे आपल्याला काय पाहायला मिळतं? दुधामध्ये आपण बटरमिल्क ऍड केल्या काही तासानंतर ते दूध आपल्याला घट्ट बनलेलं पाहायला मिळतं, कोॲग्युलेशन पाहायला मिळतं त्या मिल्कचं in the form of the curd. But actual process is that when we add the inoculum or starter in that milk, immediately this lactobacillus acidophilus bacteria produce lactic acid in that milk, and that lactic acid particularly coagulate that milk. म्हणजे त्या मिल्कला ते काय करतं? मिल्कचं कोॲग्युलेशन करतो. कोॲग्युलेशन करून तुम्हाला माहित आहे घट्टपणा येतो त्या मिल्कला. ओके, अँड पार्शल डायजेशन ऑफ द मिल्क प्रोटीन, बिकॉज इन द मिल्क द प्रोटीन प्रेझेंट विच इज कॉल्ड एज अ casein protein, and there will be digestion of that casein protein, and due to which there will be curd formation. In the curd there will be, or in the milk there is a lactose sugar. Okay, so that lactose sugar is also digested, but important protein present in the milk is called as the casein protein, and that can be digested by this lactobacillus, which particularly produce the lactic acid, and that acid digests this casein protein. So here, which is the important thing under the curd, that is for curd formation, milk is required as a raw material, and in that milk inoculum of the starter added, and inoculum of the starter contains millions of lactic acid bacteria. Name of that lactic acid bacteria is Lactobacillus acidophilus, and here this Lactobacillus acidophilus produce the lactic acid, which digests the casein protein of the milk, as well as which coagulate this curd, or coagulate this milk. So it is the important point under the dairy products. Second important thing under the dairy products is, that is the yogurt. Second one is yogurt. Two bacteria are there, Streptococcus thermophilus, and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Okay, so yogurt, even though the different name is given in the textbook yogurt, but keep in mind yogurt is nothing but the curd. Okay, but here we have to see only the names of the microorganism which is responsible for curd formation, names of microorganism which are responsible for the yogurt formation. पण तसं म्हणायला गेलं ऍक्च्युली तर योगर्ट आणि कर्ड म्हणजे एकच आहे. दहीला दुसऱ्या वर्ड मध्ये योगर्ट म्हणतात, पण टेक्स्टबुक मध्ये आपल्याला वेगवेगळे नावं दिलेले आहेत. तरी आपण फक्त इथं काय लक्षात ठेवायचं आहे, कर्ड फॉर्मेशन साठी कोणता मायक्रोऑर्गॅनिझम लागतो, लॅक्टोबॅसिलस ऍसिडोफिलस, अँड फॉर योगर्ट फॉर्मेशन द नेम ऑफ द मायक्रोब्स that is called as the Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. स्टेट बोर्ड साठी आपल्याला लक्षात ठेवायचं आहे, एनसीईआरटी मध्ये टोटली आपल्याला वेगळं कंटेंट दिलेलं आहे. तर पहा, पहिला आपण सांगितलं कर्ड, दुसरं सांगितलं योगर्ट. these are the dairy products which are prepared in this dairy product. There are another product like the cheese or the buttermilk that we will discuss in next lecture. But students, see here we have started our topic enhancement in food production, and the only one point that we have to study in this year, that is the microbes in human welfare, and that we are discussing here. Under this microbes in human welfare, we have started the first point, that is the role of microbes in the food production, and in this we have seen that in the preparation of the idli, dosa, dokra, there are role of bacteria is important. Puffing of the dough is due to the CO2 produced by this bacteria, and these bacteria are mainly Leuconostoc and Streptococcus bacteria responsible for this food preparation. Second point, we have seen that some food is directly used as a source of food because they are rich in vitamins and proteins. There is one term that is called as single cell protein, which denote that dead and dried microbes which is directly eaten as a food. And under this there are some bacteria, there are some algae, there are some mushrooms, truffles which belong to the fungi, and all these are directly eaten as a food because they are rich source of the food. Third point we are now going to discuss, that is the dairy products, and under dairy products we have to discuss curd, yogurt, buttermilk and cheese. In this lecture up to curd and yogurt we have seen curd formation Lactobacillus acidophilus bacteria is required, and for yogurt formation Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus bacteria is responsible. So here we have finished in today's lecture this point. In next lecture we will discuss next point of this food production. Okay, thank you.